Peace. This is Divine from Divine Birth Wisdom. I'm here again with two topics that I had in mind, and I wanted to share this with y'all and see what you thought about it, but also just really lay down some ideas and thoughts about, as practitioners, as doulas, as parents, when we get online or when we just throw out asking questions about herbs, how to use an herb, or let me know which herbs are good for third trimester or what herbs are good for second trimester. If you are not trained as an herbalist and or you have no herbal background, meaning you didn't grow up using chamomile or nettles or anise or anything like that. If you coming from just a background of always using over-the-counter medicines, and now all of a sudden you're working with mamas and you want to work with herbs. I used to answer questions like that online when people would ask, what's good for this, that, and the other? And I would, ginger or red raspberry leaf, or, white willow bark might be good for the X, Y, and Z. And I used to throw that out, and I stopped. And the reason why I stopped was because I was assuming that if a person is asking that question, that they use herbs and that they have at least a foundation or a jumping off point in which they would have an understanding of the usage or what would be too much, and just that knowledge, the knowledge that gives you when you're cooking, if you know how to cook, when they put in a recipe book salt to taste or season to taste, you know what it is because you cook. If you're not an herbalist, or you do not, or don't come from a background and you haven't been using herbs for a long period of time, you might not know what is to taste, what's too much, what's too little, as far as herbs, especially when you're not talking about yourself, you're trying to give this information to your client or a loved one who I don't even know what their basis of knowledge is on herbs and natural healing as well. So I stopped doing that third party commenting. And somebody might say, well, dang, how we gonna learn? If I'm asking questions, knowledge is free. How you gonna learn is to put in the work. If learning herbs or having herbs as part of your toolkit as being a midwife or a doula or a parent, then you're gonna get some books about it. You're gonna go to some online classes about it. You're gonna start going to maybe your my little baby is nursing. You might go to a local garden nursery and see how some of these herbs grow. You might try to start growing your own. It just all depends. And so if this is something you really want to do, then you will know that it's not as simple as saying, hey, this is my top 5 herbs for third trimester. One, I don't know what your mama done went through. I don't know if she done had a C-section. Did she have any medication? Is she allergic to certain herbs? Does she have high blood pressure, low blood pressure? Is she on blood thinning medication? Does she even want to use herbs? All of these things are important when I start to give out certain information, and then when I'm dealing with my clients. If you don't know how to ask questions to a mother or a client, you can't refer no herbs to them. And what I mean by that is the questions I just said are questions that you need to ask. Those are things that you pay attention to as a provider, a practitioner, someone who wants to help people. And so, I'm asking mamas things like, when the last time you poo? What type of, are you drinking water? I'm asking them, how are they feeling at home? Are they stressed? Do they have help at home? I'm asking them, are they on any other medication, or are they taking any other herbs, and in what form are they taking the herbs? If I can tell you all the herbs in the world, just type them in. But if you don't know how to make a proper herbal infusion, you just playing with them herbs. If you don't know how to make a medicinal tea, you just drinking a tea for taste. If you the type of person that put herbs in, say you put red raspberry leaf in a cup and pour hot water on it, and then you hand it right to the mama for her to drink, and you wondering why it don't work. Now, if you sitting there and you don't know why that don't work, then you need some herbal training. And ain't nothing wrong with you needing the herbal training, but we need to be honest about that, okay? Herbs have to steep. There's sometimes you want to do infusions, and that's so you can get the medicinal value out of an herb when you're making those teas, okay? Some teas, most herbs, you just don't take them that one day and they're going to work. They have to be taken over time. You might want have the mama take 2 or 3 cups of a said herb. There may be times where you say, hey, take this for 3 days or 7 days or 9 days and then have a break off. All of those things happen. So what I want to do is encourage you all, even if it's not my herbal class. Again, I'm doing pregnancy and postpartum herb and urban nutrition from the Southern perspective tradition here in Opelousas, Louisiana, April 1st through April 30th through May 1st here in Opelousas, Louisiana. If you don't want to take that course, there are a bunch of other courses, but it is beneficial if that is not what you're used to. And it's always good to just get extra knowledge on what you're already into. For instance, I'm going to take another doula course. I've been being a doula for some years, and I'm going to add on to my knowledge. That's just something intelligent you should do. You know, I don't know nobody who into herbs that don't want to learn about another herb. Like, ooh, that's how that works. We all like to learn about different things. Now, that might not be part of our consistent toolbox, but it's good to know. So you want to build your toolbox, and you want to be competent in the care that you give. And before I go, I had another topic that I want to touch on real quick. Sister that runs Indigimama had an interesting post on her Facebook business page when she was talking about appropriation of traditional healing techniques and talking about, you know, womb massage and things of that sort. And I really like that she had commented on it. And she basically had said she wasn't going to support basically white folks that's using healing modalities of original indigenous people and not giving credit in the fact that they're now making money off a said thing, because can't nobody keep you from using a said technique. But now once you put your name on a technique and you trademark that technique, we know and understand that people gonna put a face to that and say, hey, oh, that's her technique, even though that might be from a certain indigenous people. And she had made a point of saying, when you say something is Mayan abdominal massage, you're taking for granted that people don't have an understanding that there's Mayans speckled across more than one country, and in different areas they got different ways that they heal. And that's just like how I'm going to teach about, you know, Southern traditions. I'm in Louisiana, but my people are from Mississippi. There are certain foods that are cooked differently down here in Southwest Louisiana that are different than how my family cooked them, being from Leland, Clarksdale, and Jackson, Mississippi. For instance, my husband he didn't know nothing about putting okra in beans. When he and I, you know, got together, he was like, okra and beans. And I've talked to other people from down here, like, ooh, you put okra and beans? And that's like regular. You know what I'm saying? Crowd of peas, lemon beans, and putting some okra in there. But that's not nothing they necessarily eat it like that. They eat okra, they eat beans, but they don't put them together. So it's a respect to that. So when we just say, oh, something is Southern, oh, all Indians use red raspberry leaf. Which nation used red raspberry leaf? Because down here, the Homer people didn't use red raspberry leaf. And we'll talk about what they use, okay? April 30th through May 1st, 2016, Opelousas, Louisiana. Pregnancy, postpartum herbs and healing and nutrition in the Southern tradition. All right, y'all. Keep tuning in. I'm going to keep speaking and vlogging. And, hey, say peace. You say peace. Peace, y'all.